gusty winds as well. So if you're just joining us, just to recap for you, I'm meteorologist Trevor Burchett. We're hopping on our live stream this morning to give you an update about 2 severe thunderstorm warnings that have been issued for some gusty winds and some heavy rain north of the city of Memphis for the most part, but Millington out toward Arlington and now northern portions of Fayette County north of Highway 64. Seeing some wind gusts within that storm of anywhere from 50 to 60 miles an hour as it moves off to the east. So this is our new severe thunderstorm warning that has just been issued. It's mainly north of Oakland, but it's going to be up near Somerville as well as this storm continues to move in. Mason, it's pretty much on you right now. Again, that is with the potential for some gusty winds, heavy rain. We've seen some hail in these storms previously, but I'm not as concerned about hail with these storms now. Mainly, this is going to be more of a gusty wind threat. And again, we've seen gusts in there 50 to 60 miles an hour. So that's kind of storm number 1. It's over Arlington right now. It's out near Lakeland, moving into northern Fayette County. Strongest wind's going to be north of Somerville, but we also have this storm back to the west that's going to be back near Turl, Arkansas, Clarkdale, Arkansas, over I-55. That's going to kind of come in the same areas. So Millington, I know we had that one storm that came through and moved out, but now we have a second storm coming in that's going to kind of be the same thing all over again. What you just saw 30 minutes ago, you're going to have another storm roll in that also produces some heavy rain and some gusty winds for a good 30 minutes. And then a lot of this activity is going to continue to roll out of the area. Again, excuse me, I'm going to have to walk off the screen here to get details on exactly how fast these winds are. But I do want to check that because that's why we're seeing this warning. And we're seeing some really strong wind in here. North of Arlington, north of Highway 70, we're seeing winds in there as high as 60 to 70 miles an hour. And that is now crossing right into Fayette County. So let me put another storm track because those winds are picking up a little bit in there. Just to the north of Arlington, really some serious wind within that storm. So let's put a storm track on this. And again, this storm is moving at about 50 miles an hour. So it is not going to be long at all before it's a little closer to Somerville. So Oakland by about 8:40, Powers at 8:46. Somerville at 8:50, Fayette Corners at 8:55, Whiteville at 9 o'clock. So this thing is going to just continue to track off to the east, producing winds as high as 50, 60 miles an hour. All right, got a new severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued for that other storm just behind it. And we were talking about that a little bit ago. That other storm was coming in kind of right on its heels. And we have a new severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued for that. So let's get some information there. That's going to be a severe thunderstorm warning until 9:15. That is going to go for Crittenden, Mississippi, Shelby, and Tipton counties, including the cities of Atoka and Millington. So that storm also, as we were just saying, is producing wind gusts 50 to 60 miles an hour, kind of over the exact same areas that we were just seeing the winds in the Millington area as well. So let's put a storm track on that one. We'll get this off your screen and just kind of get an estimate of where that storm is going to be moving in. And again, I know we've already had this one thunderstorm roll through, so it's kind of tricky because we've got kind of a train, if you will, of multiple thunderstorms rolling through the same areas. We had this one that came through Millington 5, 10, 20 minutes ago. It's now into Fayette County, and another thunderstorm right behind it that's coming into the same areas that's also producing those winds of 50 to 60 miles an hour. So we just did a storm track not too long ago on the other storm, but I do want to storm track this second storm, and it's going to follow the same areas that the other storm is already impacting. So Hickory White, Somerville, you're already seeing some rain, but you're about to get even more rain behind it. So this first storm moves out. This is the storm track for the second thunderstorm. Millington at 8:41, Atoka by 8:50, Brunswick at 8:53, Eads at 9:08, Oakland at 9:12. And Oakland, you haven't even gotten the first storm yet. So you're going to get the first storm first, and then the second storm is going to come in right behind it. Somerville, the time of arrival for the second thunderstorm is going to be by about just after 9 a.m. So if you're just joining us, the reason we're with you is because we've got two different severe thunderstorm warnings really 3 different warnings, but for 2 different storms that are coming through the northern portion of Shelby County and the northern portion of Fayette County. We're seeing winds in here 50, 60, gusts as high as 65 that are moving to the east toward Millington and into the northern portion of Fayette County. And again, I apologize. I usually like to stay on the screen, but I'm not able to do that today. So I'm going to have to kind of jump on and off. I do apologize for that. But in order to really investigate this storm, I'm going to have to come off the screen. So what I want to do here, what you're looking at, these are your wind speed estimates. The radar is estimating those wind speeds. And just kind of ignore all the colors on your screen. I know there are a ton of colors that are on your screen right now, but just look at the numbers that I put on the screen. So this is the first storm, the second storm kind of right behind it. So Mason, Tennessee, northwestern Fayette County, right there along Interstate 40, we're seeing winds estimated 55 to 65 miles an hour in extreme northwestern Fayette County, southeastern Tipton County. Again, the strongest winds pretty much right over Mason and moving off to the east. So northern Fayette County, southern Haywood County, and then the second storm kind of coming in with the same deal. 59-mile-an-hour winds estimated just to the east of Turl. The worst is past Turl now, but now coming towards Shelby Forest and Millington, who already had those wind gusts earlier of kind of the same thing. So a really strong wind and some heavy rain along Interstate 40 right now, up there near the Airline Road exit, headed up toward the Highway 59 exit, Highway 196. You probably should not be driving right now on Interstate 40 in Fayette County because the wind and the rain is just so wild. And I wonder if back at the back we could get a camera shot up of I-40 in Fayette County near Highway 196 because the wind in there, what was that, George? All right, so this is I-40. Where did you say this was, George? All right, so this is I-40 at State Route 19. You can see the heavy rain is coming down. We're seeing some flooding on the roads there. Kind of as those cars go by, you can see the water splashing up behind those cars. So heavy rain is a concern. And then we're also seeing the wind. That is a huge concern. And I think this is right there coming up toward the 269 exit right there at the Fayette and Shelby County line. So some really heavy rain. Like I said, I probably would not be driving right now in Fayette County if I were you, just because the wind and the rain is so crazy out there. And just to show you, let's do an estimate of those winds yet again. Check this out. We're seeing winds estimated in here, again, as high as about 65 or 70 miles an hour. Let's see if we can kind of poke around in here. And again, this is right along I-40 where we're seeing those winds estimated 40, 50 miles an hour right there near 196 in Fayette County. So there's Galloway, Highway 70's up here. This is I-40 headed up toward Highway 59, which is right here. We've been talking all morning. We had that tractor trailer wreck right there. That's about where this wind is. So if you know where that accident was this morning in Fayette County with the tractor trailer, the strongest winds are kind of following right up Interstate 40 into Fayette County right now as we speak. So let's zoom out a little bit and let's just do a recap. Let's see if we have any new information from the National Weather Service. Kind of the same thing here. We have severe thunderstorm warnings for both of these storms because the winds are 65 to 70 miles an hour. And you see, really, there's not much going on anywhere else. North Mississippi, you're not seeing a drop of rain. A good chunk of western Tennessee, Dyersburg, Ripley, Covington, you're not seeing any rain either. But it's these two back-to-back thunderstorms that are kind of following each other that are both causing some issues this morning. One now in Fayette County, another one hitting the areas that were already impacted by that first round of thunderstorms. So let's see if we can zoom on in here and get a better idea of where these thunderstorms are and where they're going. We'll kind of start out with a view of both of them. Again, one of them now mainly in Fayette County, north of Highway 64. Really strong winds here along Interstate 40. And maybe we could get another camera a little further up. That one was at 269. Maybe we could go a little more to the right into Fayette County to the east and see if we have some wind in here, maybe north of Oakland. There might be, actually there might not be any cameras out there now that I think about it. But if we have any reports or information, just feel free to pass that along. But the biggest deal with that is going to be the wind. And again, that's north of Somerville for the most part in Fayette County, now moving off to the east. Could be an issue for Hardeman County if this thing doesn't fall apart. But Oakland, you're in it right now. Somerville, it's coming up to you. And then north of Highway 64, really seeing the strongest wind and the heavy rain. Again, really, I don't want to downplay this, but this really is just a regular summertime thunderstorm for us. We see these 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 times each summer with these gusty winds and heavy rain. Of course, it has been more of an issue in Memphis this summer due to all the power outages that these storms have caused. But if you are maybe worked up about this, I know some people tend to get a little more concerned as storms start to pop up. They hear some thunder and lightning. This is really nothing to be too alarmed about, but definitely some gusty winds and some heavy rain in Fayette County right now. Something that I probably would not want to be driving around in. So let's zoom out. That's storm number 1. We've got another storm right behind it that is really causing the same issues over the areas that have already been impacted by thunderstorm number 1. So let's zoom into that. That's coming into Millington right now. Turl, the worst is past you. I'll get that off your screen so you can kind of get your bearings. But Turl, the worst of the storm is past you. It's now pretty much right over Millington, right over Shelby Forest, and moving to the east. So this thing is pretty much coming right into Millington now. And because it's so close to the radar, that's what you're seeing right there, that little hole, that's the radar site. And since it is literally on top of the radar, we should get a better idea of exactly how fast those wind speeds are. So I'm going to go back to the wind mode and just kind of estimate. Now, these are not looking quite as impressive as the other storm that just came through, but definitely some gusty winds right now. We're seeing wind gusts in there 25, 35 miles an hour as that storm is rolling on through. Update from the city of Millington. They're sharing some information there. They temporarily lost power and they had that strong wind gust come through just a little bit ago, about 10 minutes ago. Scattered power outages, but no reports of damage in Millington. So that is some good news. And that's really what we expected. Since the winds were not too terribly strong, we did not expect any crazy damage, but still enough to make the power blink for just a couple of minutes. And I should mention there is just a ton of lightning in here as well. We've been hearing that at our studios, both of these storms producing some pretty serious thunder and lightning. So we're going to get ready to sign off on our digital platforms for just a little bit, just because we're getting ready for an update on television within about the next 8 or 9 minutes. So we're going to hop on TV and give an update to those folks who might not be watching on our digital platforms. But just as an update before we sign off, still 2 thunderstorms that are going to be coming in, one in Fayette County, one in the northern portion of Shelby County. Both of these producing winds 40, 50 miles an hour. I would say this Fayette County storm north of Highway 64, that's probably the strongest of the 2. But this second one coming into Millington right now, it is still packing a punch. And just before we go, I do want to do a quick recap for you as to what is going on elsewhere. And the answer is really not a whole lot. We've got these 2 thunderstorms, and other than that, there's not much more to report to you. Everybody else is pretty dry. Once these 2 thunderstorms get out, we'll have a little more rain through the morning, but this afternoon likely going to shape up pretty dry. So thunderstorm 1, thunderstorm 2, both packing the potential for 50 to 60 mile an hour winds, northern Shelby County, northern Fayette County. Hang out inside for a couple of minutes, put a pause on that morning commute. Again, I would probably not be driving on I-40 in Fayette County for right now. But again, we're going to sign off our digital updates. We're going to keep an eye on this. If anything changes, we're going to hop back on and let you know. But we are getting ready for an update on ABC 24. That's coming up at 8:56. So if you want to hop on ABC 24, I'll have an update on TV then. But for now, we are going to go ahead and sign off for